Period.
The blob.
We're both on our periods right now.
We are
actually.
literally so in sync. It's like
So
my
in
vagina knows your vagina.
Women are magical like that.
It's actually crazy, like when you live with girls or you have girlfriends and then you're like, I'm on my period too. Like, why does it do that? It's so fucking weird. Madness.
So, do you have sex on your period? Do you have sex on your period?
I actually don't, but I've never had a problem with sex on period. I never would have a problem with it if I was with a partner that actually enjoyed having period sex, like, because it is a fetish as well. Be totally game for it, but for me personally, my vagina completely changes during my period, so it actually doesn't feel the same sex. It feels a bit painful, a little bit raw. I'm fucking horny, but there's nothing I can really do inside there. I mean, I masturbate a lot on my period, if that's any consolation. Yeah, I could definitely be eating out like, while on my period, but sex just kind of hurts a little bit, and I can't manage to achieve a G-spot orgasm.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I have great orgasms when I have period sex. I think it really works for me. I don't do it often though, I have to say. It's never like the most appealing thing, especially when you've just like, you have your menstrual cup in and it's like too much of a palaver to like
pop it out,
get it out. That's, I guess, the reason why it doesn't happen that often, because it is a little bit tricky and you have to prepare and make sure you don't get a mess.
It is messy. It is like going in for like messy anal sex. It is, you can't just necessarily have it spontaneously. And if you do, then you're like, ah, fuck, there's like blood on the bed. Most guys are pretty fucking okay with it. But then you get some people that aren't, especially my boyfriend. He's totally cool with shit like that, but he's always had a problem with blood. Makes him feel faint. Anything that's like squeamish or anything, he gets funny with it. So even period blood, totally cool with it, but if he sees blood, he's like, oh, like, oh, if it's on his penis as well. I mean, we always have sex either just before period or just after. Yeah. So you kind of get that like browny, cummy, dischargey, like the residue. Yeah, he's fine with that, but if there's like fully fresh blood, it kind of, I think it scares him.
Yeah, I can understand that as well, because so many people have blood phobias.
Yeah, so, loads of blood phobias.
It can be a lot of blood if you're having sex and it's like the middle of your period. That could be a lot of blood.
Yeah, heavy flow. Also, you're on your period anyway, so your body feels like shit a lot of the time. It feels like tired, run down, you feel emotional and miserable and needy, and sometimes you just want some fucking cuddles.
It really depends what sort of period you have and like whether you're gonna feel like wanting to have sex.
But the horn is unreal. A lot of girls get it before their period, some people get it on, and other people get it afterwards. And that is like the horniest horn in the horning world. I mean, it is literally your body saying you need to have sperm so you can have some fucking babies. But we were just talking about a menstrual cup. We both use menstrual cups. We gave that a go. We have a couple of videos on it if you want to check them out. I used to swear by pads, but they're complicated, they're long, they're costly, and they're pretty damaging for the environment. Same with tampons. Not great for your body. You're putting all them shitty chemicals inside you. Yeah. I like tampons as well. They are necessary, but cup, man, once you get used to a cup, it changes your life.
It really does, because with tampons, you're always worrying that it's still gonna overflow.
Oh, always. I always have to wear a panty liner and a tampon.
Yeah. So, and then with the cup, you literally can have it in all day, and and then that's enough. It'll just like store up. You only really have like a cup of blood a day, so.
Oh, not even that. Like, I have mine in a day and a night, and I change it in the morning, and it's absolutely fine. It doesn't overflow. The only thing I have noticed with a cup is that sometimes, because it's a cup, if you put it in, you might have a little bit of blood around the sides that will leak out. Just that the very first bit.
Yeah.
The only issue with that and sex is obviously you do have to go to the toilet, take your cup out empty. You can't really do it in bed.
Oh no, that would not be a good idea.
Imagine a guy's like fingering you, like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't know if you've seen the comedian Ali Wong. She's like my favourite comedian of all time. She says a really good line in her last comedy act, which is like, the sexiest thing a man ever said to me was like, Ali, I wanna fuck you. And she's like, oh, I'm on my period. And he turns around and he's like, well, Ali, let's get messy. And she's just like, that was the sexiest thing a man ever said. Like, not caring about being on your period is so sexy. It's really attractive.
It's really attractive.
For a guy to just be like, I don't give a fuck, man. Like, sex is messy anyway. I want to fuck you regardless.
Yeah, they like you enough, basically, to fuck you on your period.
She also said, if a guy can pull out your tampon and replace it with a dick, he's a keeper. So, yeah. That's it.
Don't know if I'd ever go that far.
I don't know, man. I think that'd be pretty fucking sick. Like, some guy just like pulls out.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, no guy will ever be okay with doing that. But they should be. Why shouldn't they? We shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
why can't they see what it's like?
We have to do it at least like, what, 5 times a month?
I mean, I've never let them go anywhere near the menstrual cup. But...
Yeah. Yeah, the menstrual cup.
For life.
Yeah, they'll pop it out and it will squirt in their face and be like, ah! Freak out.
Like in a bath of blood.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, even girls do this as well. You always think that you are bleeding so much more than you actually are because you see it everywhere and you feels like it goes on for ages and you honestly don't bleed that much.
No,
it's
I love those memes where it's like when you sneeze and you're on your period and it's just like blood
like
everywhere.
The Shining scene where it's like coming out of the fucking elevator and it's just a gush of blood.
That's what it feels like.
It does.
But it's never that much.
No, it really isn't. It's actually, is it 2 tablespoons a day at your heaviest? 2 tablespoons, that's nothing. And not even like, we're not talking about like big tablespoons here, we're talking about like the little sort of dessert spoons, the ones that are just bigger than a teaspoon. On average. Some people are different.
Yeah,
some people don't
bleed more.
Yeah, and some people bleed like hardly anything.
Yeah, when I was on when I was on the pill, I didn't bleed that much at all.
Yeah, no,
For like 3 days, it was bad.
Oh, that's not bad at all. I was the opposite. Like, when I was on the pill, I would bleed for like at least 10 days and it would go on and I would feel like it was so heavy. But now I'm on the patch, I bleed for like 4 days and it's just, I have like my first heavy day and that's great. Good. I mean, imagine not having sex for like 10 days.
There's a really magical fact about having period sex when you're a woman, and that is that your orgasms can be better.
Oh my god, yeah.
When you have period sex.
I think it is because of all those crazy hormone changes and your body's just like, oh my god, what is happening? So maybe when you shed the lining of whatever's going on in there, it like opens up the G-spot area just that little bit more.
Maybe. And then like the blood's like a nice amount of lube.
Yeah.
It's not too slimy. Just a little bit wet.
So yeah, if you haven't tried having period sex, definitely give it a go because you might have a crazy fucking orgasm.
And also, I've heard that if you're having really bad period cramps, having sex can actually relieve that pain.
Oh my god, stop. Mm-hmm. Boyfriend! I was having really bad period cramps today. The ones that shoot up your bum hole and you're sitting there and you're just like,
I think it's quite like a cool, intimate like thing to do together as
well. Like, oh yeah, we do it on the period. And everyone's like, oh my god, really? You do that? He does that for you? It's like, it's like a badge of honour.
It kind of is. Obviously, period sex can get pretty messy.
Oh yeah.
But you can prepare for that.
Definitely. I mean, it's no different to if you have an accident and leak in bed. You can always plan your bed sheets around your period. Dark bed sheets, that does help. And if you do end up accidentally leaking on your bed, then always use cold water, soak it in cold water, and salt is really good for blood. If you have time to prepare, get a towel.
Yeah, exactly. Just so quick and easy to get a towel and then there's no mess.
I actually even leaked in my pants last night and my panties are sitting in a bucket of cold water with salt in them just so I can see if I can try and save my pants.
Oh. Once a guy that I was seeing ate me out when I was on my period. I found
crazy.
Really strange. He was just like, why don't you just like go and have a shower first? And then he was like, I don't mind if it's like fresh blood. Okay.
That's really cool. That's weird because like, we're not used to that. Yeah. But that's really cool for a guy to be that okay with it. I mean, maybe he was into blood.
Maybe.
Yeah, like with a tampon in, I'm sure I've been eaten out before. It's
But
easier with a cup.
I didn't have a tampon in.
He
Didn't
must
have
have
anything.
must have been
And then
just cool
afterwards
with it.
there was like blood on the bed.
Yeah, maybe he fucking loved it.
Maybe. But anyway, I was like, why not?
Yeah,
Like,
it.
if he's gonna eat me out, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, was the orgasm good? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was actually. I think it was really good because I was also just like, this is so weird. But I've also been eaten out with a tampon in before as well.
Yeah. I think it's really cool if a guy's just so fine with it.
Yeah, I was really surprised when that person was like, I'll do it anyway. I was like, I've got a tampon in. They were like, so?
Yeah,
I
and?
was like,
Yes.
okay.
Score. I've been really offended before when guys are like, oh, you're on your period? And I'm like, fuck off. Like, do you actually want to get laid? Yeah, I've definitely hated that. It really is
really
so
not
off-putting. It's just like, are you kidding me? This is something that every girl has to deal with every fucking month of her life, and you have a problem with it?
Yeah.
You want to do sexual stuff and you're making me feel bad for something like that. You need to sort your shit out.
Nah.
So much anger.
If you're worried that your partner isn't gonna be okay with having period sex, just talk about it.
If you're okay with it, they're more likely to be okay with it. You know, if
Yeah.
you're embarrassed about it, then they're gonna think it might be an embarrassing topic. But if you're just like, oh hey, like I'm really horny, really want to have sex, but I'm on my period. Shall we have it a go? Like I've never done it before. And if they're a bit like, oh, I don't know, be like, we can stop if it gets too weird.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone shouldn't have period sex unless they have a really bad phobia of blood.
Yeah. And then if you do have a phobia of blood, just explain that. Actually, you know, even with my boyfriend now, when there's been a lot of blood, I've been like, oh, there's some blood, and I've cleaned it off of him, so he hasn't had to deal with it, look at it, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, stick it back in me again. It just depends on how you feel with your partner,
Yeah,
really.
and how they feel. Just make sure you're both okay with it.
Yes. Oh, you know, I have not been on my period, had sex, and then it's brought my period on before.
Oh, yeah. That can happen.
That can happen quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think
you're kind
it-
of like agitating it a little bit so it
Yeah.
comes out quicker.
Yeah, kind of like speeds up the process a little bit, which can be a bit of a shock as well.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, yeah, like, or like if you're not expecting to be on your period, you're like, fuck!
what's that?
Yeah. But then you can just be like, oh shit, okay, well I'm on my period. And we
Yeah.
had sex. That's great.
So if you have any period sex stories, leave them in
Yes.
the comments below.
Please, we love to hear from you guys. And if you like our channel and want to keep seeing our videos, subscribe and you'll get a little notification when we do a little video.
Yay!
And we will always see you every week on Saturday.
Goodbye.
Bye.